Dipuo Peters says there has been a 47% reduction in road fatalities over the Easter long weekend. Peters released the preliminary statistics of road crashes and fatalities for the period between the 24th and the 28th of March. She says traffic officers have worked hard to help bring about a reduction in the number of fatalities. Now, for more on what came out of the Transport Minister's briefing, our reporter Sipho Stuurman is standing by live from Pretoria. Sipho, good afternoon. This is a preliminary report, but in the words of the Minister, a milestone has been reached this year, but there is still a lot that needs to be done.
Well, you are quite very correct there. You said this is a preliminary report, but it is a good indicator of the work that has been done by traffic authorities. A 46% reduction is quite a big number here, and you remember in the previous year, 287 people died during the Easter period, and now that has gone down to 156. And the Minister, as she spoke earlier on, said this is due to the collaborative work involving the authorities, community members, and motorists as well, adopting a more responsible behavior. But for us to just get more as to what contributed to this success, because we can call it a success. Of course, we know 146 lives is still way too many, but considering where we were, this is something we can look forward to and actually celebrate, and hopefully that the government can build on. But the CEO of the road traffic management here, Makosini Msibi, is going to tell us exactly what led to this moment right here. Sir, if you can just please tell us what has contributed to this reduction.
Well, this has been a collaborative effort. We're working with everybody. We're working with the local authorities, which are the municipalities, SALGA, provincial governments, the public itself, that is the communities, the drivers, passengers, faith-based organization, as well as the youth and the organization for the disabled people. So it has been a multi-pronged approach, but central to it has been an understanding and the desire for all of us as South Africans to reduce the road carnages and the fatalities. And to that extent, the proper planning that we have had, the communication strategy that we embarked on pre the Easter season, as well as the dry runs that we have dealt with. But central to that has been the analysis of the previous patterns, and understanding the challenges that we're confronted with has been one of the major causes for this reduction.
Okay, there's been a lot of talk about motorist behavior improving. If you can just touch on that, how has it improved? What have you noticed that's different in the manner that motorists have behaved this year during Easter?
Well, the fact that when we release and analyze our statistics, the fact that the drivers themselves or the motorists have reduced in terms of the fatalities as well as the pedestrians begins to signify that the human element and the behavior of our people has changed drastically. We have seen our people, those that were going to different pilgrimages, were left earlier, and that could be seen through the people that have passed through our toll roads. The second issue has been the call that people have heeded to travel while the sun shines, as opposed to the past when people traveled at night. But even so, we have also deployed a lot of our law enforcement for 24/7, because we anticipated those motorists and the road users that were not going to heed the call. To that extent, this has not given and yielded the desired results that we're looking forward to.
All right. The fatalities have decreased, but the problem of drunk driving is still there. Over the Easter period, there were about 1,000 arrests, so which means there's still a lot of work to be done in that department.
Well, the issue of drunken driving, it's one of the challenges that we're confronted with. But this has also been worsened by the fact, as we alluded within the press briefing, that one of the contributory factors is the fact that the passengers in the vehicle themselves have the tendency to entice the drivers to drink. So the issue of abuse of alcohol is still a major source that we're going to be working on, because it's also going to warrant us to educate the passengers as well as the commuters. But in terms of the 906 that we have arrested for drunken driving, we believe it's just a drop in an ocean. There are still those people that are banned to drive while they are under the influence. You will then notice that our operations had also cascaded to the urban areas as well as the residential areas, because that's where most of the abuse of alcohol is happening, and we'll still be intensifying our campaigns and operations within the urban areas.
Now let's talk about the issue of bribes by your officials. You mentioned that in the briefing that is a concern that you have, that a few of your officials have been caught soliciting bribes from motorists. How big a problem is this, and what are you doing to deal with it?
We have alluded to the fact that the percentage on the scale of the corruption, we have acknowledged that corruption is endemic. But as to the scale, we can't really confirm. However, we're equally concerned about the operations within our DLTCs, our law enforcers that are also taking some bribes. But to that extent, we're equal to the task. We have deployed a number of our law enforcers throughout the country. We're working with some of the law enforcement agencies, the Hawks as well as SABC, as well as the National Intelligence on these issues to then unearth the level of corruption. And indeed, as the Minister have said, that we invite you sooner than later to see what we are doing in terms of corruption.
And then just very lastly from me, you mentioned that pedestrians also themselves contribute to the number of fatalities on the road. Just talk to us about the issues of pedestrians, maybe the ones that go hitchhiking on the highways. Just talk to us about how much of a problem is it for you as traffic management authorities?
Well, the pedestrians are quite a problem for us. How are they a problem? Those that are jaywalking. You'll know that most of our people, even if you look in terms of the urban areas, the width of the streets, people will get to taverns, drink, and then begin to get and share the space with the vehicles. That's one of the issues. People crossing where it's unsafe to do so. It's also one of the problems. In terms of the human settlement, you have people staying along the sides of the freeways, and they cross at any space and willy-nilly crossing to another end. It's one of us also of our problems. But the third issue, that is a major problem in relating to the pedestrians, they don't wear clothes that are bright, that could be identified from an area, particularly at night. Since most of the hit and runs happen during the night time, it's because we don't wear the clothes that are necessarily reflective, clothes that could be seen from a distance, bright clothes, to ensure that we avoid the issue of people being knocked down by our vehicles. But the other issue that relates to the pedestrians, we have get used and accustomed to an issue that cars cannot do anything. In fact, drivers of the vehicles will give us way as pedestrians. It's one of the attitudes that we're working with, so that the pedestrians must appreciate that they need not move and encroach the road. They must always use the pavement where they're supposed to be walking.
All right, well, thank you very much. That is the CEO of RTMC here, just telling us that, of course, they are encouraged by the 46% drop in fatalities this Easter. But he mentioned three issues that are still ongoing that they still have to deal with as the department. And one, he just talked about one of the pedestrians really just risking their lives and crossing highways when it's not safe. Spoke about the issue of traffic officials taking bribes, and that is something that they're going to be investigating and taking strong action against. And of course, the last issue is that of drinking and driving, mentioning that up to 1,000 people over the Easter period have been arrested for drunk driving. So he's saying those are issues that they still have to deal with as department. But overall, they are quite happy with the stats coming down to just 156. That's a huge drop from 287 the previous year.
Sipho, thank you very much. Our reporter Sipho Stuurman in Pretoria, just after that briefing by Transport Minister Dipuo Peters, giving us the stats on the Easter weekend's road fatalities. And as Sipho said there, those road deaths or the road fatalities have decreased by 47%.